All right, let's count it down in 3, 2. I'd like to introduce Ryan DeLuca to the Quickfire 5. Ryan is the co-founder of Black Box Virtual Reality. That was established. Okay, let me start over. I couldn't get that wrong. All right, let's try that again. I'd like to introduce Ryan DeLuca as our guest today for Quickfire 5. Ryan is the co-founder of Black Box VR, which was established in 2016. Ryan, it's taken this long to get you on the Quickfire 5.
Thank you very much for having me. Very excited to be here.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So we fast forward to 2022. You're finally a guest on the podcast. I'm so glad to have you here. You're going to talk next week about virtual reality. But before that, I have a couple fun questions. Can't wait to hear your answer. So let's get started with question number 1. What is a life lesson that the pandemic has taught you?
Well, I think the number one life lesson that we all had to learn is that the future is unpredictable. Like, we like to believe that things are going to happen like they've always happened. We know there's a certain amount of change that's going to happen, but these kind of sudden black swan events, you never know when it can happen, and just being prepared for that and understanding what's important and what's not.
All right. Very nice answer. I like that. All right. Ready for number 2?
Let's do it.
If you could play a character in any movie, what character would it be?
Well, it's obviously Iron Man. Like, Iron Man has got to be the entrepreneur's favorite superhero, right? Like, he can really actually create these things you like to kind of believe, and become a superhero, like using his mind and creating companies and products. And so I think Iron Man. Plus, my daughter really likes Iron Man, so it gives me extra points.
Okay. Well, yep. Brownie points works. All right. Number 3, please complete this statement. Sunday morning, you can find me.
Spending time with my new 4-month-old daughter. She keeps me pretty busy, but I know the good answer is, reading books. I like to relax on Sundays, of course, and going to church. But try to get a lot of good book reading done in that time. I'm a big book reader, but otherwise, it's spending time with family and probably fitting in a few games of Rocket League, my favorite video game.
All right. Well, I'm glad you mentioned the word books and that you like to read, because my next question is all about books. Could you please give one book recommendation for all of our FBP family out there listening?
Sure, yeah, big book reader. It's made my life so much better. And I'd say it's a very popular one, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's kind of a basic answer in a way, and I'd like to come up with something more complicated, but the truth is, like, when it comes to making your life better, your business better, your family better, like, understanding these basic principles of how to relate to other people and how to understand how you relate to yourself is so important. So I recommend that. Once a year, I try to read How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah, we do get that book a couple times throughout the year. And it's funny that not only do we get it a couple times, but everybody that recommends it always says it's a book that you have to kind of constantly keep in your rotation. So it's ironic that you say the same exact thing.
For sure.
All right, now I'm going to hand the mic over to you for the next 30 seconds. Okay. You're going to pitch to all of our family again why they should come back next week to hear your episode. Take it away, Ryan.
Well, first, I'd like to say, did you know that Facebook, who's now named as Meta after Metaverse, purchased a fitness company for $400 million last year? It's something that the fitness industry is not really talking about, and it is a virtual reality fitness app. It's this new thing that's coming that is becoming very popular. People are buying these Quest devices, and there's a whole new world of virtual reality out there where you can actually immerse yourself in an entire different world. You have a trainer, you can do workouts, you can play games. This is going to completely change the fitness industry over the next couple of years. There's trillions of dollars. Oh, sorry, say that again. That part. There's billions of dollars going in from the biggest tech companies in the world, like Apple coming out with their headset soon, Facebook, Google, and more. And it's really going to have a big impact on the fitness industry.
All right, everybody, tune in next week. You're going to learn all about virtual reality from the co-founder of Black Box VR. Okay, that was done.
Awesome.
Oh,
Sweet. That was fun.
Doing that pretty well.
Oh, well, thanks.
I knew you were going to
workout.
I knew you were going to pick a Marvel.
Right. Yeah.
I knew it. I'm like, he has to, so.
Oh yeah. I know. I don't even know what else I would pick. Actually, what my second answer would be like. I mean, I can't think of one. It's like.
most guys like your age, like, most guys pick some type of superhero Marvel character. Most. The
Right.
girls, they're a little more all over the place, once in a while
Mhm.
I get one that's just like, Wonder Woman or something, but
Right.
they're a little bit all over the place. It's just
Thank
funny.
you.
I can
That
kind
is
of
funny.
tell when I meet somebody, their personality on where they're going to
Mhm.
go with it. Some people pick something silly. It just
Right.
depends.
I should have said like Jesus from Passion of the Christ. I'm like, oh, okay, this guy, there's something wrong with this guy.
That actually would have been pretty funny.
Right. Yeah.
Not that
Is
Jesus
it
is funny, but it would have been,
right?
that would have
But when
been.
people think they want to be Jesus, yeah, that might be a bad thing.
All right. Okay. So let me just run over what I'm looking at for questions for our main interview. We're talking
Okay.
like 20 minutes, Ryan. So it is 6:18. So maybe here by the time we get started, 6:20. So we'll go to 6:40 and then wrap it up for the main interview.
All right.
My first question basically is going to be, what is virtual reality? So if you can just, get as detailed as you possibly can with that.
Okay.
And, again, obviously pertaining to like, the fitness, that would be awesome. Then my second question to you was going to be, how can people work out in virtual reality today? Meaning what type of experiences are out there? Okay.
Okay.
Third question is, I was going to say something like your company, Black Box, does virtual reality. What type of feedback are you getting? Like, I'd love for our listeners just to hear, like, okay, what are people saying about, virtual reality after they've done a class? Like, what are they saying? So,
Right.
and then I was going to say the next question I was going to ask, as far as a main question is, what's next for virtual reality? Like, where do you see the future of virtual reality? Okay.
Okay.
Now, sometimes you might say something that I might do a little side question off of, but those are my four main questions. I absolutely want you to talk about Black Box. We're here to get your name out. We just don't want it to be like an infomercial.
Right.
What I really want you to do is teach about virtual reality. Like really, we're just looking for you to expose our listeners to virtual reality, expose what the experience is like. Did you have any pitfalls? That's always a good question. I love when people tell us, like, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen and they do like to hear, like, okay, where did you make your mistakes? Because they're
Right.
making mistakes too, and they're trying to avoid them. So, just in your answers, things like that. That's really what we're just looking for, a down to earth conversation about virtual reality. And then also we do want people to know that, we want them to know about Black Box.
Right. Yeah. That sounds good.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to introduce you. We'll get started again. If I mess up all the time, so you'll hear me sometimes stop, restart. Same goes for you. If you don't like the way the question is going, you don't like the answer, you're not sure what I'm talking about. That happens
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Just stop. It's
All
okay.
right.
Like, again, I make notes and then we just cut it out. Okay.
Sounds easy.
Okay. Here we go. A little countdown and let's get started in 3, 2. On today's episode of the Fitness Business Podcast, we have co-founder of Black Box VR, Ryan DeLuca. Ryan, welcome to the Fitness Business Podcast.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here. A big, long time listener.
Oh, thank you so much. And you are coming all the way from Idaho.
That's right. The center of fitness technology.
We'll take that. It's either the center of potatoes or the center of fitness technology. And that seems to sound a little more exciting.
That's right. We'll take both.
Well, you might be, and I could be wrong, and I apologize if I am. You might be one of our first guests from the wonderful state of Idaho. So welcome.
All right. I got to represent.
Yeah, you sure do. So Ryan, just a little bit about you. You actually started out as one of the co-founders of bodybuilding.com, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Back in the 1900s, like 1998, a few years after high school, started bodybuilding.com, like in my garage, and grew it over 17 years as CEO to we had like 800 employees and $500 million in annual revenue. And it was such a fun ride, and retired it from there in 2015.
That is super cool. I read that bodybuilding.com was the largest online supplement retailer in the world.
That's right. Yeah, we had so many customers, millions of customers from the US, all around the world, and one of the largest fitness websites in the world, and with a large community and all sorts of different apps and fun things on there.
I'll say fun things. That's amazing. Congratulations to you. I would have just been done with that, retired and lived life on a yacht for the next, 30 years.
I tried. I did that for about 6 months and got bored out of my mind. So I'd like to try again someday, but I think right now it's fun to get back into it.
All right. So speaking of getting back into it, you, along with a friend of yours, co-founded Black Box Virtual Reality in 2016.
Correct. Yeah. Preston and Lewis and I, we worked together at Bottom.com for many years building it. And we said, hey, there's this new thing, VR, looks like it's about to take off. Let's go see what this is all about and how it can help people get more fit.
All right. So talking about taking off, you now have 6 locations.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. We did all the R&D for many years, and now we've started opening up commercially with 6 locations. We have 2 that we corporate own in San Francisco, 1 in Boise here in Idaho. And then we have 4 locations open inside EOS fitness gyms throughout Phoenix and California.
Okay. So now I have a couple questions that I'm dying to ask you. But before we get to the questions, I'd like for you just to draw a picture, because I had to do a little research myself just to kind of figure out, all right, what do we mean when we say virtual reality? So I saw on your website, you have some YouTube videos. It looks as if you get a headset, like a goggle headset. Then you go into you refer to it as a private battle area. Can you just set up what it looks like before we get into our questions?
Sure. So virtual reality is basically, like you said, it's where you wear a headset like the Oculus Quest, which is the most popular one out there, and where you're fully immersed inside of this virtual experience. So it's not kind of virtual streaming, like when people say, hey, you do your virtual workouts by looking at a screen. This is completely replacing the outside world. So you feel like you've transported yourself to a completely different location. The exciting thing about modern day virtual reality technology, is that you're able to move around in the environment. So it's not just that you're standing in one place and you're just kind of looking around. You're actually able to walk around the room and to jump and to get down and to punch and to move and do all these exciting things inside this game environment. And the game environment can be a game like a normal video game, or it could be a social environment where you're hanging out with other people. We do all of our meetings inside virtual reality, where we're actually with all of our remote workers sitting around a conference room table in some exciting environments, some big city or beach house. And we do our full workouts there. There's a whiteboard and everything, full work meetings there, whiteboard and everything. Like it's very fun. So there's so many different things you can do once you replace the environment, enter the holodeck, and you're in a completely different world.
Well, it was really cool. I loved your videos. I watched, I don't know if it was you or Preston, but one of you were playing like a game, it was a fitness game.
Correct. Yeah. So the game that we've created is basically let me start that over. The game that we've created is basically a competitive multiplayer type of game where you go in there and you're trying to defeat the other bad guy while they're trying to defeat you. And you do these different exercises like chest press and overhead press and squats using our custom resistance machine. And so you basically are getting a full strength workout, a HIIT cardio workout, together with playing a video game, having fun, and doing, say it again. There's so many different ways I can say it. Yeah. You're getting a full strength and HIIT cardio workout inside of a video game using your body as a controller. It makes it just way more fun than just a traditional workout.
Yeah, I saw again, you guys were going pretty hard on the chest press, fighting off the bad guys. And then there also was a segment that's not so much a game, but a workout.
Correct. The different parts of the game where there's still strategy, but you're doing different kind of punching and slicing and kind of different kind of cardio movements. So you're kind of boxing in there, but you're still making strategic decisions and still playing a game. It's not just, hey, do 30 seconds of boxing. It's, hey, do this type of boxing activity, because that way you're going to be able to put this champion, we call them, out there on the field, and they're going to go fight for you, and it's going to give you a better chance of winning the game.
Yeah, I saw you had your 6 little champions, once you entered into the game. It's pretty cool. I advise everybody to go check out your website, which we'll put in the show notes, so they can just click right on the link and check out that really cool video, so you can really get a good understanding about what Ryan is referring to. So Ryan, I think we have a little better grip and handle on what the virtual reality workout scene looks like. how can people like work out in virtual reality today? And what I mean by is what type of experiences are out there for people?
It's a great question. When we first got started, there weren't a lot of experiences, but people started to realize that they would play these certain games, and when they were done, they were sweating. They accidentally got a workout. And so the most popular game in VR right now is called Beat Saber, and it's a rhythm-based game where you're holding these like lightsabers and things are coming at you. You have to like slice them in different ways. You're kind of dancing, and it's super fun and very immersive. And it's a crazy light show going on around you, and to all these different songs. And people would play this game and be addicted to it, couldn't stop playing it. And then suddenly they would realize that they had lost 10 pounds playing it over the last couple months because they were getting a real workout. And so people have also put together actual workout programs. Like there's this one called Supernatural, which was purchased by Facebook, now Meta, for $400 million last year. And there's private coaches standing there with you, right? They're recorded coaches, but they're in 3D. You're in these really fun environments. And it's kind of similar to Beat Saber, where you are slicing, ducking, squatting, and doing a workout time to music. And so that's a very exciting one where they have a subscription around that. Les Mills now has their own VR game, which is called Body Combat in VR. So you can actually do a full Les Mills with a trainer workout in VR. And other popular ones are just games that are accidentally workouts, like just boxing games. Like you can go in there and box against these different competitors. And it's kind of crazy, like how when somebody looks like they're coming at you and you're ducking and, and punching and jabbing, like how much of a workout you get while playing these fun games. And so there's so many different ways to work out inside VR, and it's only just the beginning.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love the TikTok videos. They'll put like the goggles on, the moms like myself or the dads, and then they're like falling and it's funny to watch somebody with the headset on performing the moves because it does look a little silly, but yet entertaining.
It's so true. It's fun to watch. I mean, because we always feel really cool. Like when I'm playing Beat Saber, I'm doing all these crazy movements with lightsabers. And then if I ever see a video of myself, it's like, didn't look quite as cool, but I got a good workout and it was pretty fun.
Right. That's actually honestly where I first saw the virtual reality fitness was on TikTok. And I was like, what's going on? What are they doing? And then, like I said, did a little digging, and then I saw you were coming on the show, and then I went to your website, and now I'm like, all right, I'm up to date. I'm up to speed. Now I'm dying to try it.
You got to do it. And I think on that note, you can buy it used to be called Oculus. Facebook has changed it to Meta. So they have the Meta Quest 2 headset. It's $299. It doesn't require a computer. There's no other setup. You can do it anywhere. So I definitely would recommend, if anybody wants to get into this, you can easily buy it on the Oculus or Meta website or Amazon. It's pretty much available anywhere, Best Buy, and you can give it a try with virtual reality yourself.
Yeah, I think I'm putting that on my Mother's Day wish list this year.
It was on the Oprah's best gifts list last year, so it's becoming very popular for all sorts of people you wouldn't think.
Oh, that's super cool. That's neat. If it's on Oprah, then it's legit, right?
It's legit.
All right. So your company, Black Box, obviously that's what you're doing. You're trying to, you're breaking into the virtual. Let me start over. Okay. Your company, Black Box, obviously has stormed the virtual reality market. What type of feedback now are you starting to get from the users? I'm sure a lot of our listeners are dying to know what you're hearing.
The exciting thing about it is that what we've really noticed is there's a huge group of people out there that don't currently stick to a workout program, right? The fitness industry a lot of times tries to go after those same group of people, the enthusiasts, switch gyms, switch programs, get them to buy their at-home thing. But the vast majority of people don't stick to their programs. The joke is always that, January, the gyms are going to be very packed, but don't worry, all the New Year's resolutionaries are going to be gone in 2 weeks. And there's literally a thing this year they call Quitters Day, which is like the third Friday in January. Everybody quits, their resolutions. And we all kind of know that. We kind of accept it. We laugh about it. But the truth is, people just aren't able to adhere to these type of programs over the long term. And as we all know in the fitness industry, the only secret to fitness success is adherence. You can't just do something for 2 weeks really hard and then get it. You have to do it every week for life. And so what we're really finding is that once people turn their workout into a video game, a video game is very addictive. People are spending so much money playing these games. They're ignoring their families and friends. In fact, in the UK, there was like hundreds of divorce petitions last year that mentioned Fortnite actually in the divorce petition, because people ignore their work, their jobs, their families, everything to play these games. And so we said, if you could play a game and get something out of it. And that's really the feedback that we're getting from our members, is that they're finally able to do something fun that they enjoy, that the side effect is getting in great shape and getting a full workout, and not just the focus of just, I got to go do it and sacrifice other things. And that's really, really where I believe that the industry is going to have to go, is turning it into something that doesn't really require as much discipline, right? Instead of being, I have discipline, I can wake up at 5 a.m. and do something that I don't enjoy, which most people don't enjoy working out. Instead, make it something fun that they look forward to. And that's the feedback we get. People that never were able to stick to a workout program in the past now are been going 3 to 4 times per week for months or for even years, and they're seeing amazing results from it.
I agree. It makes sense. I mean, the gaming world is just oh my gosh, I'm sure a multi-trillion-dollar business. So it does absolutely make sense. Can you have 2 people participate at one time?
In today's version, you can't. We basically kind of have different ways where you go against a bad guy, but then you do it at different times. That way you don't have to be there at the same time. But in our apps, we have a companion app that people can go, and that's where you create your team. And that's where you'll have quests that you guys will all be going on. Like, okay, I'm going to go and do the workout on this day. You're going to go and do your thing on this day. We're all going to earn these different rewards together. So a lot of games do that, right? Where you basically form a team, go out there and complete these quests, get the rewards, and it creates some really good, fun social accountability, as well as just social camaraderie.
Okay, give me 1 second. Hold on. I just want to ask. Okay. All right. Ryan, can you tell us what it looks like if a fitness club joins on to bring this virtual reality into their club? You refer to it as a private battle area. Is that what needs to be put in place at a health club in order for this to work?
Right now, we do have private booths where people can go in. It's about a 10-foot by 10-foot booth, where that's where our exercise machine is. That's mapped into the VR environment, some of the other VR sensors. We use pretty high-end virtual reality equipment, so it requires a little bit more setup for us and for the gym. But then the user does like, because we talked about earlier, did you kind of feel kind of dumb when you're in VR and you can't see out, but people can see you? So people definitely like the privacy aspect of it. We think over time that'll kind of go down, where people are more used to that. But today in the gym environment, they'll have their own private booth. They go in there, put the headset on. They've already checked in on the app. It says, hey, is this you, Dori? Yes, it is. And then you go ahead and get started. You have a 30-minute workout where you're fully intense, fully focused, and then you're done.
I'm glad you mentioned 30 minutes, because that was on my list of questions. I wanted to ask you, can you select how long you participate? Is it always 30? Can you do an hour? How does that work?
In today's version, it's always 30 minutes. You can do multiple per day if you really want to. We recommend 3 to 4 times per week, because it's a full body exercise program that is very intense. Like, there's no breaks, right? You're in this battle, you're going at it, and you don't get any breaks. So we make sure that you get the right amount of volume of exercise per body part at the right intensities. And we found 3 to 4 days per week at 30 minutes at a time is enough. Most people can't do more than that, because, like I said, it's a very intense workout. But we also kind of think of it like a sport, right? So you're going to go and play the sport. Your basketball game lasts for 30 minutes, and once that's up, whoever's the winner. And that's really how we kind of look at it. It's more of a virtual sport, and it is just a workout.
So at-home fitness is very popular right now. Obviously, COVID has brought on at-home fitness, started with the streaming. Let's talk about now, what does virtual reality fitness look like for the home user? They purchase the goggles, and then do they buy an app for their TV?
Yeah, so you purchase like the headset and whatever one that you choose, and then there's usually an app store. So it's very similar to like on your iPhone, like you would choose different apps and you would download different games and you would sign into them. Some of them on subscription model, most of them are just one-time purchases. So it's really like the app store. You go in there, you have your game. So when I'm ready to do my workouts at home, because I still do Beat Saber and other ones at home, you basically just put the headset on, open up that app, it knows who you are, choose which songs or which playlist you want to do, and you just go through and do it.
And what kind of space do you need? Because I could see myself like using my lightsaber and smashing my hand into like the TV or the wall or something along those lines.
That is definitely a lot of people doing that. And it's kind of funny. There's this VR to ER subreddit on Reddit, where it's mostly funny stuff where people think that there's a table here because in VR, there it is. And then they fall down or they're playing pool and there's not a pool table. It's pretty funny. But you don't need a lot of space. It depends on the type of thing that you're playing. Most of the time, it's probably like a 6-foot by 6-foot space would give you enough room. The more space, the better, of course. And more of these experiences are going to require even more space in the future, because you could set up a whole basketball court or a tennis court with a VR system where you could be running around and jumping and doing all that stuff. But for most people at home, they don't have that. So basically just a little bit of room in your bedroom and you're good.
Okay. Hey, Ryan, did I ask you the question already? What's next for VR?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're going to use that one. We'll wrap it up. That'll be our last question. And yeah. Okay. Good. Obviously the headset, Ryan, is like looking into the future. It seems so futuristic. Reminds me of the Jetsons back when I was a kid. You know, we never thought any of that stuff was going to be true. And slowly, one by one, the Jetsons were way ahead. They were way ahead of their time. What do you think virtual reality looks like going forward?
That's a great question. So I still think we're in the early days of VR. The devices, there's so much research going out there to these devices. Like I said, from Facebook, you know, now called Meta. They're literally called Meta because they're going after the metaverse. They're all in on this. Oh, you froze up.
No, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was like, don't want to miss that one. All right, we'll start that one over.
You're frozen, but I can hear you. Okay, let's take it from there. You are. Let's take it from.
Okay.
I'll ask the question again. It just makes it easier for me to edit.
Yep.
Okay. What is next for VR?
Well, VR is still in the early days. Like the devices are finally at a level where people can buy them for home. They work great. They're better than people would really imagine. But there's so much research going out there from big companies like Facebook, who's now Meta. You know, they really renamed their entire trillion-dollar company to be about the metaverse, all about VR, because that's how much they believe in it. Apple's coming out with their headset at the end of this year. There's going to be so many new devices. And really what the future is going to be for VR is going to be more accessible devices that are lower price, that are more comfortable. Sometimes you see these kind of big bulky things on people's heads. They're going to get smaller. They're going to get also just better. They're going to work better to make it so you can actually download these apps and experiences anywhere you are through 5G connections. But the real future is going to be creating more social presence. You know, right now in VR, you can see people's avatar and it kind of looks like them. But what the companies are working on is making it so it really looks like you. If that's your choice, you can look like whatever you want. You can see eye movements, you can see facial expressions, you can have full, true social presence inside a virtual reality environment. So right now I'm talking to you over Zoom, and you know, that's nice. We can actually see each other, but pretty soon it's going to feel like we put our headset on and we are right there in the same room together in these different bodies that feels just the same as meeting in real life. And that's going to bring so many great things to the fitness industry. Your trainer can be there from anywhere around the world. You can train a whole class of people live and be there and walk around them and correct them on these things and motivate them. You're going to be able to play games with people where you're doing exciting, you know, virtual sports where you're getting in shape and climbing mountains and battling bad guys. And that's going to be the way you're going to work out in the future. And it's coming sooner than most people think.
Do you think virtual reality takes the place of the group fitness instructor?
I think it augments the instructor. There's always going to be a place for at home, but there's just such amazing value to being able to just not have to commute, not have to even have a physical space that we have to go to. Everybody has to be at the same time. We could do it asynchronously, right, at different times. But what's exciting is right now, if I want to go to a group fitness instructor, I have to find who I want to go to that's in Boise, Idaho. In the future, I'll be able to go and be together with the best instructor in the world. And I think it's really going to make it so that people will have access in ways that they never had access before. The cost will come down because you won't have to have a private one-on-one session where you're overlaying these places. You'll be able to actually go inside these virtual environments, have these classes, meet these people, create those social groups, and get in shape.
Is the goal?
Yeah.
Is the
Anyway.
goal? You okay?
I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Yeah.
All right. Is the goal for Black Box to try to get into every single gym, or are you really trying to make more of a presence in the at-home market?
We will have both. We are working on an app for the Quest, which will allow people to have an at-home version of it. Where we believe that we fit in is that there's going to be thousands of these apps, just like there are thousands of streaming services now and YouTube videos and Instagram influencers to learn from. Eventually, there's going to be a lot of different cardio apps out there. What we believe is that health clubs are going to need to have an answer. And the answer is always some specialized experience that you can't get at home. And that's going to require specialized equipment. And so the equipment that we've created is the full strength training, resistance-based workout that we've created with this custom machine that's mapped in virtual reality. That's something that you won't be able to get at home. And so we believe that health clubs will be able to bring this experience there. It'll be a great add-on to the membership. It'll allow people to use it either as fully for their workout or can augment their personal training or their other workouts that they're doing. And also, I think that people are going to need, well, let me start that part. There's definitely going to be a place where people are going to want to have themselves inside these virtual metaverses where they can actually have their classes, instruct people, and compete along with others in the metaverse.
Well, Ryan,
Not any more pre-workout. Yeah.
Ryan, you make this sound so exciting. I'm like dying. Like I said, I'm dying to try this. I really would love for all of our FBP family out there to go and check out your website so they can, again, get a visual of really what this looks like, what the video game, what the fitness workout looks like as well. It's really cool. But thank you so much for coming on and taking time out of your day to educate our listeners. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And yeah, any questions anybody have, they can reach out anytime.
Yeah, we'll make sure that all of your contact information and your links and everything are in our show notes. We try to make it super easy for our FBP family out there that they can just click and get right to you and right to your Facebook page and right to your website.
That's great.
Okay, we're good with that. We have one more piece to go and then you're all done. And that is
All right.
what we call our Fitz Bizspiration question. It's a sponsored question. I'm going to ask you the question and then you're going to answer it. And when you're done, just pause. There's no follow-up question for this one.
Okay.
Okay. So if you remember the question, I'm just go through this here real quick. The question's going to be, give us your 3 tips for gyms launching virtual reality. Okay. All right. You ready? I'm going to ask you the question. Here we go. In 3, 2. Give us your 3 tips for gyms launching virtual reality.
I think number one thing is that people need to understand fully how virtual reality works and what the benefits are. Like understanding that it's not just a screen on your face, that it is something that actually changes fitness fundamentally. So the very first tip I would give is go out there, buy a device for yourself, buy some for your team members, really try to see what it's all about and fully understand it. I think the second thing would be to really think about how to make it so that you can use virtual reality to fully engage your members, because your members are at home, your members are in your gyms. What can you do using virtual reality to create a more seamless experience where instead of it just being through an app or through a screen or forcing it all to be in person, it allows you to connect with them where they are in these different environments. And I think the third thing is really think about how virtual reality can bring something new to your gym, right? So once again, it's not just replacing something that you have, but what's the new thing that you can add that really something that the market that you're not really going after today. There's this huge market of people that play games. Like millennials are now about 40 years old. We always think of millennials as being these teenagers, but they're up to 40 years old now. They grew up with video games. They're not as into the traditional workout environments. Usually they like these boutique experiences. They like these social experiences. They want to play a game. And there is a huge group of people out there. 66% of people play video games every day in the US. It's a pretty evenly split male-female ratio. So it's a huge group of people aren't being served by the fitness industry. They want to become a badass just like they are in their games. And you can provide that for them with these custom experiences.
Okay. I fall in the 40%. Our household kind of falls in the 40%. My son a little bit, but we are not.
That's funny.
I don't understand. I don't know. Not into it.
Yeah, I think it's one, there's a lot of people playing on phones now, like social and mobile games, like the Farmville kind of stuff and Candy Crush. There's a huge percent of people that are every single day on that stuff. And I think the other thing that's interesting is the fitness industry underrepresents like gamers, of course. I mean, it's kind of this cliche that you always joke about, like the jocks, they don't have no technology or games. The gamers don't play sports. And I'm in both of those. When I do talk to fitness industry people, like they don't know what VR is. They're confused about, they don't play games. Then you go talk to the like gamer side of things with your tech people. They don't know what a bench press is or a reps and sets, which I'm always like, how, and but there's this huge overlap, which is, there's so many people out there. It's literally the biggest media industry by far and growing like ridiculous,
Yeah.
And I feel like the fitness industry, that's what I'm excited to do this is I do feel like the fitness industry a little behind all the time on technology. And you know, like a lot of the big new technology is now finally like some streaming and stuff, where we gotta get past that, because these big tech companies are going to eat us up.
Yeah. We're the jock family. We're like, you know, I don't know. Like I said, my son a little bit, but I find it as every year it's just less and less. Like
Right.
I'm glad I just didn't have the kids that were like in the
Addicted.
like in the dark room, and you're like, oh my God, you know, you're panicking.
Like,
So
go outside once a day at least.
yeah, I had to like, you know, do a lot of research for this just to see what I kept thinking it was more like virtual streaming. And I'm just like, what's the difference? What's the difference? And then, like I said, your
Right.
YouTube videos were really that you have linked in your website were uber helpful for me. I was like,
Oh, good.
oh, okay, all right. But
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, it is. We've had to create a lot of this content because people, once again, they just don't understand. And
Mhm.
it's changing, you know, like with Facebook, with all the stuff they're doing. And
Right,
but
right.
but it's definitely cutting edge.
Now, what do you mean? Like, again, another thing, I was like, what's the metaverse?
Metaverse. Yeah. So the metaverse is basically where it's basically spatial computing, where instead of the internet being on screens, basically go inside the internet. So it's kind of like, I guess, the Matrix or Ready Player One, if you ever seen that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Ready Player One's probably the best example, where you basically live inside these other universes by putting on these headsets and these different connections. And there's a huge there's a huge amount of money going into it right now. Like Nike has their own area in there, Adidas has in there, McDonald's verse, the McDonald verse is like a new thing. They're all going in there creating these locations inside these other big locations where people can go and visit. And the McDonald's one's funny. You can actually go to a McDonald's in your headset and place an order, and the DoorDash will bring it to you, you know, in real life. You know, there's all this crazy stuff happening where we're going to literally live inside these huge worlds. And it's gonna be way better than, you know, scrolling a feed. You know.
Listen, do you know who the Jetsons are? I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
who you are, so I wasn't sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Remember George's boss used to come up on the screen and be like, you know, George, where are you? And we would be like, okay, like, come on. And now I laugh because here we are. We're doing
It's
that
funny.
FaceTime and Zoom. It's like, oh my God, we're George Jetson and his boss, you know,
It's funny. I literally was thinking that yesterday. Like, because I was on a FaceTime call. I'm like, there was, when we were younger, the idea of like having like a spy phone or something, where it's like, you know, where that you could see the person talking. It was like, that's never going to happen. That's like mind-blowing future. And now we're like bored of it. You know,
bored,
how
right?
fast things move. You know,
Right, go gadget or whatever, right? Remember
right? Yeah.
Gadget, Mr.
Yeah.
Gadget,
Oh yeah.
Inspector.
It's all coming.
Yeah, it
Oh
is.
yeah. Yep.
It is. It is. What else did I want to ask you? Oh, I know I wanted to ask you. Are you guys going to be at URSA this year?
Yes. We won't have a booth this time, but we will be there. It's just, yeah, we'll have a booth again soon.
Okay, but you guys will be there floating around.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
look for us. I'd love to try to just, you know, I'll be doing some live stuff, pictures,
nice.
things like that. We always are trying to push and promote our guests. So if you see me, don't avoid me.
I will. I won't be like, no. Yeah. I'll be bothering you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be like, are you Ryan? You'll be like, no.
What are you talking about? It says on your badge. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My name's Todd.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be awesome. I'd love to meet you in person and talk more about it. But because like I said on the podcast, like a big part of it is, you know, we're trying to provide the service for the gym. Like, you know, during the pandemic, all the people flipped out like, crap, we need streaming services like overnight kind of thing. And once this metaverse stuff becomes bigger, there's going to be a kind of a land rush also for like, how do we get some of these into our gym? And we just want to be there for them and create good partnerships.
I think Christmas 2022, that's going to be one of the hot ticket items. I think.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, Apple is coming. Apple's releasing it. Like, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. As soon as Apple, of course, you know, if Apple releases it, you know, you got to have it.
It's mainstream. Yeah.
It's like the watch, you know, the Apple Watch. So,
yeah.
All right. I think I have everything. Ryan, are you comfortable with the information? Is there anything that we missed? Are you good?
Good. Yeah. I mean, if anything else comes up, let me know. I mean, happy to talk about it anytime. And
okay. I just have one more question and then I'll let you go. I'd like to know why your wine rack behind you does not have a bottle of wine.
That's actually funny. There are some over here, but
Oh,
there's
there
either
we
two.
go.
Yeah, there's
And the
either.
refrigerator is empty too,
I know
right?
it's. I always tell people it's either one or two reasons. Either because I drank it all, or I haven't been drinking that much. But honestly, I just need to kind of refill it, I guess. But I've been trying to avoid it in temptation. Don't have too much of right here in my office. But
Yeah, you tried to pass it off as pre-workout and I bought into it.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I might have some vodka. No. Yeah. I am a caffeine junkie, that's for sure. If I'm addicted to anything, I'm I mean, we sold so much pre-workout at bottom.com and I got into it. And I'm a fast caffeine metabolizer according to 23andMe. So I can, some people, if they have a coffee like at 2 p.m., they can't sleep. I can have like a 5 Red Bulls and I'm good. So I love it.
You have no hands in bodybuilding.com anymore?
No, I sold the rest of my interest to the parent company, Liberty Media, that had purchased us towards my last couple of years. And it was kind of nice because, a lot of times CEOs will leave, like founder CEOs, and then they stay connected because they still have some like interest. And that's bad usually for everybody. The CEO, the previous CEO, was stressed out that they're making bad decisions and still talking to people in there. The other one is trying to like have their own way, and not be to push that way. So I had a pretty clean break and, met with them quite a few times on just things here and there, but yeah, but
we have good friends that just sold a logistics company to UPS. Yeah,
nice.
UPS. And he stayed on and then it got ugly. It got ugly. And then they ended up kind of just letting him go or buying him out completely. I'm not sure, but he sold it to UPS, but yeah, he was staying on. And then it sounded like it got a little ugly. So he's no longer.
Yeah. Sometimes it works.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I mean, the parent companies or new CEOs or new whatever always have their own ideas. And especially with founder CEOs, like we're super passionate about like, this is what we care about. This is how it has to be done. And, you hope you want to be able to, change and iterate and learn at the same time. But like the fundamentals, like that you care about, like are the fundamentals. And it's almost like trying to get somebody to change their religion, good luck.
Yeah. So, well, smart. Well, good for you. That's awesome. Again, thanks so much for coming on and just enlightening myself. And you kind of forced me to do some research. And then I think our listeners will really like it as well.